say, everybody? We're back at it again. I got my man, OG Mike. It's been a while. Mike, before we get rolling here, what's good, my brother?
Great, man. Hey, I'm stoked to finally get on board and have this one going, man. Shit, it's a long
I
time coming.
know it's been a while. You know me. I took my sabbatical, my sick leave. I used all the union notified me, Mike. They told me I used all my sick days, all my vacational days, all my personal days, and they notified me that if you get another phone call that I can't make it, you're ripping up the contract. So this is it. Yeah, I don't blame you. I would have fired me long ago, pal.
Are you kidding me, man? There's no replacements, bro. You're unreplaceable, man.
There we go. I didn't
Shit,
replace
man.
you. I
Let's
love it.
roll.
Let's roll. This is long overdue. We're gonna talk about some tattoos today, Mike. I know that's something you don't mind speaking about. I don't mind speaking about. What are you thinking about that today? You got anything good on your mind today?
Man, I listen. I love tattoos, man. I the first tattoos I ever saw, man. I was hooked just looking. As a kid, I'm like, man, I got to get tattooed. So, I got my first one at 13, man. 13.
So yeah, we're gonna get into that. I think it was 15. We're gonna get into that. If anybody hears um, barking in this, I got Penelope, our English bulldog, Mikey. She's bugging out today a little bit. So
Benny.
she yeah, if anything, yeah. So she knows I'm in the other room talking, and she's not happy that I'm not petting her while I'm doing this. So we'll
Yeah.
get rolling here. All right, you know what, Mike? This is another one of these things that we do that we could do 20 parts to it. We'll try to cover a little bit of what we'll get into this, and who knows where this leads down the road. We might do more of this. Hope it finds somebody's interest. I know we have some interest with this. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say let's go back to. I'm gonna start with you, Mike. How old were you? Let's get into it. Tell me a little bit about your first thought about wanting to get a tattoo, and maybe there was something that drew you to tattoos that you liked them, or your first thoughts of them. How old?
100%, man. Okay, so for me, it was just once I jumped off the porch, so to say, started hanging out in the
Mm-hmm.
streets. It
Mm-hmm.
was, man, it did, everybody had tattoos, and it wasn't sleeves and a bunch of stuff, maybe
Mm-hmm.
some initials, maybe this. Most
Mm-hmm.
of these guys they were prison tattoos or needle pokes.
Yep.
And my best buddy, who I interviewed, man, for my show, Scott Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Scott had his initials, man, on his arm, and I was just, I'm 13, man, maybe 12, man, when I first saw him. 12, I'm like, damn, man, I want to get it just was, shit. I got not too many people had them either, man. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about mid 80s, or so. And so for me, man, that was it. I was hooked. Found a spot. Back then, it wasn't like it is now. There was places you could walk. I'm sure there's places like that, but there was
Yeah.
places you could walk in and be like, "Hey, you 18? Yeah. All right, what you want, man?" You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
that
crazy.
was it, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question because I'll get into it on my end as well. How is your home coming from? The Italian American family. Your background, your upbringing is very similar to mine. All of us. Um, how was? Did you ever as a kid, say maybe out loud, "Hey, Pop, I'm going to get a tattoo someday," or maybe showed an interest to it, and maybe they voiced their opinion about it. Did you ever get any of that?
Oh yeah,
And
man. Listen,
if
man.
so, how'd they feel about it?
Yeah, man. My dad, he went in the army, but he didn't get any tattoos. He,
Right.
you know, he was, man. My old man was so cool, man, because he was indifferent to pretty much whatever I wanted to do, as
He was
long as it
supportive.
wasn't hurting people or
Hey, perfect.
stuff
That's
like
good.
that.
That's beautiful.
Hey, let
Yeah.
that guy express
Yeah.
himself how he wants. That's how he was. My
Absolutely.
mom,
Yeah.
not so much.
No, so like you say, there you go. It's funny you say that. Like, my pop was different that way, but I'll tell you what I mean by how he was basically more balk and bite when it came to that. He said to me one time, I was very young, and I must have expressed, "Oh, I want to get a tattoo." I was very young, 14, maybe young, 13, like that. And he said to me, he acted like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Where you gonna get it?" I'm falling right into it. That's the arm. Yeah, you want to get it on that arm? Okay, because I'll tell you why I want to know. He'd say, I said, "Why's that?" He said, "Well, let me know what arm you're going to get it on, because that's the arm I'm going to break before you go get it." One of those type things. And and who would know? Just a few years later, I'll get into the story. I came home with a tattoo, and you know, he wound up being like, "Hey, it's not so bad," and then before you know it, it was, once you have one potato chip, you got to eat the whole bag.
Yeah,
So
you're
we
not
keep
getting
going.
one.
So talk to us about your, Texas, and I'm going to get into New York. Growing up in New York City, how tattoos were not legal in New York City, so you had to go out of New York City. Maybe that only meant a 30-minute ride to Long Island or Westchester County. Get out of New York City to go to a legal tattoo parlor, storefront, whatever, whatever's out there. But New York City tattoos, it was easy to find somebody that had, I don't know how it was in Texas, easy to find somebody with their basement, wherever they had a whole shop in their house. So even when tattoos became legalized again, I think in the late 90s or even 2000, I don't know exactly, yeah, they became, people were still going to people's shops in their house because we were so used to it in the city that you didn't need it. And it was all due to insurances and whatnot. But tell us about your first experience, because I know you're covered, Mikey. And we can't do a modeling show today where we'll get thrown off here, but you are covered, and I love your work. But for me to say that I'm like an amateur compared to the amount of work you have, and I'm pretty much have a decent amount, as you know. Um, Tell us about your first experience, Mike. Like, how old were you when you got your first? Was it just a? Would you say it was just a piece, as we called it back in the day? You just got a
Yeah.
little piece or a piece, and then did you start to get into? When were you starting to get into the extensive work you have?
Right, right. So I would say right off, man, my initials was my first thing because that was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
big thing, man. Dudes had their initials. Your
Right.
three, your initials. That's it. It was, and people, the smart asses in my family that would, the only shot they would take, you don't remember your name, you don't remember your initials, shit like that. But it wasn't about that. It was about having the ink.
It's what you
It,
like. That's
it
what
could
you
have been
feel,
whatever.
right?
It's just that's
Absolutely.
probably what I could afford at the time. You know,
Absolutely.
it
Whatever it
was
is. That's right.
probably, it was probably
Yeah.
$15 or something. I could afford to go in there and pay $15 to get my initials. So it started as that type of stuff. From there, it was always just a little more, just a little more, like you said. Now I've got one piece that I got
Mm-hmm.
from Larry Shaw, man, and
Talk to us about Larry Shaw.
Shaw's Tattoo Shop was one of the originals in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
This is it right here.
Nice.
Sh-
Nice.
Shaw's Tattoo. They had been there since, I want to say, man, the late 60s, early 70s, maybe. And Mr. Shaw comes from like tattoo royalty, right?
Mm.
His dad is Bob Shaw. This is Bob Shaw.
Love it. Love it.
Again, tattoo, legend, So,
Absolutely.
so for Mr. Shaw, I actually got the Heights
Uh,
Gym Bulldog tattooed, our logo.
it's funny. I'm laughing at the bulldog because we didn't have this conversation, but there's so much shit that me and you have so much like crazy familiarity with that when you just popped up the bulldog, I have a bulldog hat. It's
Do you,
crazy,
man?
bro. It's crazy. Go
I
ahead.
mean, I love, so one of the things I would see when I would go into these tattoo shops was
Right.
like the military flash on the wall, right? And so the the
The flash
the,
art. Yep.
the USMC
USA.
Bulldog, I
Right.
was always just like, oh man, do you have the Bulldog there, man? Is she right
Yeah.
there under you? Pick her up, man. Let's
Yeah.
let the people see, at least see the Bulldog, man. Come on,
Yeah.
man. You got to see that. Oh man, love her, man. That's awesome, Penelope.
Penelope.
Hey man,
Yo,
so
Mikey, she got big, bro. She got heavy, man.
it's like
She's huge,
lifting up.
bro. She's the best. Go ahead. I'm sorry,
That's
brother. Go ahead.
no. Listen, I mean,
Thanks for the shout out for Penelope.
of course. Well, hey man, if I've got a bulldog tattoo,
There you go.
come
Great.
on, man. The funny thing, okay, so on this tattoo, it had uh, two gold teeth on it, and the eyes were green when I first got it, which have faded completely, since then. But anyway, that was one that I got, from Mr.
Right.
Shaw. He tattooed me quite a bit, and let me
I
see.
can imagine quite a bit.
Yeah, and so
Mike, before this ends, if you don't mind, if you gotta let just so people get a full understanding. We give them maybe we'll put it up at the end, or You got to let them see your back so they get a full understanding. There you go. Yeah, now you understand a little bit.
That's yeah. So that's the samurai. Now this is a This ain't even done, man. This is a second run over of a complete cover up on my back. I had
No,
all
man.
type of different stuff, and I said, you know what? I want to go with a full Japanese,
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
and that's where I'm at right now, man. I'm still. That's like my,
We talk that
you know, hey, on the chest, I've got pit bull.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
there it is again.
dogs.
Mike, I hope you could see it. I don't know if you can because it's a cover up. The pit bull. I don't know if you could see it. If you look at, I know the lights say, if you look in between, it's a cover up. I never got it colored in the top. There's a pit bull underneath the dragon's
Nice.
face. It's supposed to be there.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm
here we
saying.
go again, the same stuff. So go
Same
ahead. I'm
stuff.
sorry, because we're
Nah,
going to talk
that's
tattoos. This is great. So you're young and you went to Legends in the
those
game.
guys were those. The, by the time I got to the Shaws, I was more serious and really
Right.
was into it. His son opened up his own shop. This is his shop, Third Generation Inc.
Nice.
Um,
Love it.
and let me tell you, man. Also, these guys run their shop, Craig, like a hospital operating room.
Really is good.
You
That's
walk in
beautiful.
there,
That's
it's
good. Yeah, clean. Yeah,
so
clean.
clean.
Important.
They go by the books. They're
Yeah.
they're so his son's place is Third Generation Inc. And it's
Mm-hmm.
because he's a third generation tattooist, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so on them, let me wrap up one more thing that I got before we
Yeah, no, man.
move
Let's do
on
this.
is I have a picture that Bob Shaw
Oh,
painted. And Little Larry gave me that, the son, and this Bob painted this back in. Let me see. I've got the bottom corner, 1977. That's a
yeah.
print from Bob Shaw.
1977.
These
Legends.
guys, yeah, been around forever, man. So this is your deal right here. But let me flip it around and ask you, man.
Yeah, it's all right. Let it come, though.
When did you said you got that one
Yeah.
started? Your
Yeah,
pops was kind of
yeah, I'll tell you a quick one. Again, it started like that whole, I don't know, fascination, but tattoo shops for me, because again, as a young kid, you didn't see too many tattoo shops because, like I said, everything was illegal because they weren't legal. So you had to go into somebody's shop in their house or basement. So it was family members as a young kid I was with while they were getting tattooed. But if I was ever out of the city and in Long Island as a teenager or whatever, I could never walk past a tattoo shop without going in. Like kind of like when
yeah,
you see a dog store, they're selling puppies, one of these puppy stores.
yeah,
Like you can't just walk by. You got to go in and see the puppies as a kid and pet them and look at all the dogs, right? Well, it's the same thing as you walk into a tattoo parlor, man. You hear them needles going and that smell, that ink smell, and all the acid tracing and all that stuff.
yeah.
You get amped up, right? So I'm gonna say I'm 15, maybe going on 16. I just got my permit in New York, so I might have been 16, 17. Long story short, I think I was 16 though. I took the car and I was late, very late. And I was late because I decided I was going to get a tattoo, not realizing tattoos take a while. And it was, again, I went to a legal shop. It was called Peter Tattoo. They've been around for 100 years. They're about 25 minutes drive from here by Belmont Racetrack. Back then it was called by Belmont Racetrack, where the Belmont Stakes every year they have the horse racing. Yeah, so Peter Tattoo in Belmont, by Belmont Racetrack. Anybody out there? It's Hempstead, New York. It's in Long Island. It's right on the border, Queens and Long Island. So you went out there, not realizing I'm a kid. I'm young. You could sit in a tattoo parlor. You're next, but you don't realize the guy could be getting 5 hours of work on him, 7 hours of work. And by the time you go in there, I don't realize time. I'm late with the car now. I'm already know how bad the beating gonna be. You know what I mean? I disappear with the car. So I don't know what to get. I'm looking at the wall. It's the first one, and I decide I get a little bad chili. Anyway, I get a bird on my back. Remember the old flash shots, Mikey, American traditional,
Yeah,
uh,
sparrows.
where the sparrows is carrying the letter or the love basket of the
Yeah,
kids or whatever.
I had
Yeah,
one on my back. A nice one.
yeah, I get it like that, and again, I'm late with the car, and I think I got It was that or a rose with a flower. It said "Mom and Dad." I said, "Well, I'm late. Going with the mom and dad." Right?
Gotta butter them up.
Yeah. Well, first thing I get back to the house, I'm pumped up. I got my tattoo, you know, it's this big, this rose and with an arrow and a heart, mom and dad, And my father's like, "Where were you with the car? You're gonna start this shit already, basically. You just got the car and you're disappearing for 3 hours."
Yeah.
Hey, look. Well, look at this. Love you, mom. Love you, dad. On them kinds of things. Yeah. He's like, "What the?" I don't want to make this a rated R show, but yeah. What the? And he's like, "Didn't I tell you I was going to break whatever arm you decided, or whatever body part you were going to do this on?" And then he's looking at me. He goes, "Let me see that again." Like, "Let me see that again," type thing. And I had to, you see, Mikey, in that whole thing, the biggest decision was, do I put mom first or dad? See, little things meant something in my house. So I kind of knew who was swinging the bat better. Yeah, my mother didn't have a good swing compared to the old man. So dad was first, I think. So anyway, yeah, that was the first one, and then you graduate from there. You got to have another. But yeah, that was my first tattoo. I was late with the car, and mom and dad was first. Of course, I love my mother and father, but. That was really
that's smart, man.
I had critical thinking.
That's good thing. Hey, you know what? That goes. Do you mind if I put this video real fast? I think this is a good time for that because you mentioned, choosing the first tattoo. So I went out and did a little legwork, Greg, and talked to this guy, Neil. I'm gonna pull up Neil.
You were confident.
Oh man, I love tattoos.
Tattoos.
You mentioned it, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. What's up, man? I'm here with my man Neil, Houston, Texas, third generation ink. What advice do you have somebody looking to get their first tattoo?
Start small. I would say start small, something maybe meaningful. Just keep it simple. Just make sure it's got a good meaning to it. Mom or dad's name, kid's name. Nothing vulgar.
Man, great advice. Don't go for a full sleeve on your first shot. All right, man. Thanks, Neil.
Okay.
That's my man, Neil. Shout out to you. Yeah. That's something exactly what you said, man.
That was my thinking. Right, Mike, I want to give you a shout out, man. Way to get out there, do the legwork, get out to the people.
Do some legwork, man.
I love it. Geraldo Rivera.
About on the road.
My brother. Good job. So that was really the first tattoo. But then, as you know, I know you're going to tell me now. So you get your first piece. Then what triggers you, man? Tell me. Do you remember?
I guess once you decide, man, you're going all out. I'm not one of these dudes that needs. I ain't doing that, no. and I don't need a year to plan it out, man. I could show up that day and be like, "Yeah, man, let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah.
Hey, these here, this is double, man. I've gone over everything.
You covered yourself twice, cover up, and went it again.
Yeah. You know why? Because I wanted to get tattooed again, not because I had to. I could have left the other stuff. Yeah, man, it was the
sound of the needle, right?
Yeah, man.
It's like putting that football equipment on. That's right.
It's just
I know
something where, man, you just not only that, man, but the process of getting tattooed, in my opinion, is so relaxing, man.
Oh man, it's awesome.
Talking,
and you knew you had like I would find out later on when I was doing the sleeve and we'll get into that story on allotting for time and stuff like that. You get psyched. You knew you had an appointment that night. You were going to sit for 4 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was, 5 hours. And then, later on, my son Vincent, you see, when he was doing this, like this kid, I'm telling you, Mikey, he was sitting for 10 hours. I mean, a trooper. God bless, I couldn't sit for that long. And, we got the video through his leg. Antonio Cruz sat for a while, and, and he's getting ready now. Vin is getting ready, he's getting ready to do his whole back, like and he's going to be sitting, with that same artist, that same guy, Mikey, that you sort of work with his leg. Yeah. Although he's different. No, that's the Japanese artist he's going to. The guy that does the old school.
You're getting the old school stuff.
Yeah, he's well known. He's well known, Mikey.
That's nice.
If you want to show Vinny's, go right ahead. If you want to show some of Vinny's work, go ahead.
I've actually got Antonio's, I think.
So yeah, this guy's known for his realism, Mike. Um, and right there, that's Antonio's kids, his wife. I mean, if
That's incredible, man.
yeah, we'll get some still photos if you want. I'll show some stills. I'll get you some stills so you can put up if you want. So they can see the clarity. It's crazy, crazy the realism. I mean, he's got a football
Incredible.
card. Yeah, he did Santino. That's his football uniform. Insane. And then you show Vinny's, but they've evolved. People have asked me this. Was I drawn to? I used to get asked this. I'm sure you're going to get asked this. Um, you've probably been asked it 1,000 times. Somebody asked me many times when we were younger, Mikey. What did it mean to us? Like, did I aspire? Did I aspire to be a biker? No, to me, it had nothing to do with that at
Mm-mm.
all, at all. Um, as a matter of fact, it's totally not opposite of that, but my
Had
lifestyle was
nothing.
opposite of one of what the biker,
Yeah.
what we know bikers are about, good or bad or indifferent. But it's nothing about what I aspired for. Um, I had nothing to do with that. Now, I got to say this because people have asked me this. I don't know your opinion on this. Is everybody tattoos and gets whatever they want because it means something to them, and that's what it's about. It's supposed to be about. But I never got a tattoo wanting to be a tough guy, thinking I was going to look like a tough guy. It was never about that. I thought it was cool when I was a little kid, and that was the main reason. And then when I was getting them, in the middle of getting them, that never crossed my mind. It was about what I wanted, what made me feel good, whatever those reasons are. It was never about wanting to be a tough guy. It takes me to today because I've been asked this. I think it's quite the opposite today. What I mean by that is you got a lot of guys that they're the furthest thing about being tough guys. There's nothing about them that are tough guys, and they're covered. So it's really about an expression thing. It has nothing to do with the biker, the tough guy. Maybe at one time, Mikey, the service. I mean, what do you think? I don't want to go too, but that's just my opinion on that.
It,
Everybody's
oh,
saying that. What do you think?
yeah. I think you hit on a good point. For one thing, back in the day, man, it it just depended on where you what situation
Life,
were
what's
you
going
in.
on in their life, right?
You look at Bob Shaw. He's got
That's his
this
life.
traditional.
Yeah.
I think they said he had Burt Grimm sleeves by the time he was 14. He was
Crazy.
completely
14 years
sleeved.
old, sleeved up.
Sleeved up. Burt Grimm, a legend, and his stuff's it's traditional. It's sailors. It's stuff like that. And it had nothing to do with it. Just had to do with the expression, like you said,
It's
man.
what you would accept. Absolutely. Yeah, because
You
somebody
know,
said, "Oh, were you intimidated?" Oh, I know it was my wife years and years ago, not recently. Um, but I think it was my wife, and I've gotten this mostly. I've heard this from women that they found because I don't think a man will admit to this, and I've never heard a man say this. Uh, I've heard women say this that they found um, first looking at whether it was me or whoever, and seeing all the tattoos or whatever. Maybe it's something about somebody. I don't know. It could be intimidating for somebody that's I don't know. We don't look at things that way, you or me, or I
right?
don't know, and for that matter. But I've heard that before, strictly from a woman's point of view, that it could be maybe to the point where it's a turn off for them, or it's they like it. You know what I'm
They
saying? They
like it.
like that look.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard anything from a female perspective about the intimidation part? Or it's not crossing our mind why we get them, but I've
Right.
heard that we could
I'm.
look.
I would say probably my mom thought like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would. I
yeah,
would for
yeah,
sure say my mom probably was like,
yeah.
now,
Well,
having
yeah,
said
absolutely.
that, having said that,
So
we
true.
had one. I'll put the picture in here too, right
Yeah,
here, man.
do
When
it.
we get
I
a
can
chance,
do it.
we had one couple people in our family, man, that had pretty good amount of tattoos. One of them
Mm-hmm.
it was my uncle Joe and his son Frank. Both had a pretty good amount of tattoos, and Frank's son Joe had a tattoo. Uncle Joe was a merchant marine. He had a most of his forearm covered, and we're talking about back in the 50s,
Yeah,
40s and
nobody
50s.
was
Maybe
doing
these
that. Yeah,
pictures are.
that was
This
crazy.
These are
Yeah.
black and white, photos I'm going to put. And
Mm-hmm.
he was probably, and nobody looked at him in the family any different. They had nothing but respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go, oh God, he's, what I mean,
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
Italian guy,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
that was that. As far as one thing I'll say is, for me at least, I always wanted to be as separate from mainstream society as I
Absolutely.
could.
You want
So
cookie, you aren't the cookie cutter. Right.
yeah, if I could get, if
Yep.
putting some tattoos on me
Yep.
separated me from everybody
Yep.
else,
Yep.
you know, that was walking around, that
Yeah.
was
See,
whatever.
yeah.
That's what I wanted. But now it's
Yeah.
opposite, man. Now everybody
Yeah.
has them.
It's so what do they call that? Mainstream.
Yeah. So
Women
now I
to cover
gotta,
back in our day. Yeah.
yeah, right. Nobody was
Back in our day, a woman got a little, maybe an ankle or something. Even the biker chicks, they would get. They were today. You got, I'll say, college educated, meaning because nobody's expecting that preppy,
right.
and they got full sleeves. You know what I mean? Full,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Absolutely.
You know, you touched on like not being the norm. This guy here, man, is going to be one of the guys I think was one of the first boxers that
Really?
I saw
Oh wow!
with a lot of
Is that
tap.
Johnny Tapia?
Yes,
Oh, I love Johnny Boy.
Johnny Boy and
Yeah.
Johnny. There wasn't a lot of guys heavy tap. I mean,
No,
that's a
think
full
about
chest.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Where's Timmy Irish? Boy, where did Timmy Irish sees this?
Exactly, man. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was, wasn't the norm. How about, let me ask you this,
Back then.
Greg?
Yeah.
How about street guys, man?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I've been asked that. I'm gonna put that in the category. Being around it.
Right. Yeah, you're there. Well, I mean, there's the answer.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. I will say this though. No, I'm gonna say you this. I can't speak for anybody else in their crews and what was being talked about, but I'll tell you this. It wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was like I better not hear see it or I'm going to say this. I'll go back to it wasn't like well loved and thought highly of. I'm going to tell you that. Now there was a lot of guys, as you know, that fought the wars that went down that road.
Right.
They went down that road, and I guess when they did their times in the service, maybe they got tatted up and stuff like that while they were in the service.
Yeah.
But that being said, guys with tattoos are no different. They look at it this way. You're not a biker. I'm going to tell Mikey. I had the conversation. You're not a biker. Otherwise, you could go to that life. Okay, that's one. You're supposed to have a certain appearance and look a certain way about you. Not like their way is the only way, and that's how you talk to that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You got to look a certain way, look the part, look clean, look like respectable that way. They want you
Business
to look
guy,
like a dime, right? And they don't want you to look like a biker. And here's the biggest one: a lot of cops tattooed up, the earrings in their ear. I think it was you. I had this conversation with the fucking earring out of your ear. You look like an undercover cop.
Wow, really?
You want to be. You don't want to. You don't want to fall into anything that could possibly where you could blend in with anything else. You want to. If you're going to be that guy wearing a sweatsuit or dressed in a certain way with your dress clothes on and a pinky ring, that's okay. We know who you are. Now, that's never had that speech given to me like that, but I'm telling you, later on it would be more accepted, but I'm telling you, even at the end, with me, it was something that, when guys would get involved with tattoo shops, that was for other reasons. And guys are tatted, but I'm going to tell you, it wasn't until very later, I'm talking 2000s where guys were starting to get, I don't think in the 80s and 90s guys were getting covered up. I'm telling you, like, I'm just telling you, my small world, no.
Right,
it wasn't
right. I got
highly
you.
thought highly of. No.
How about, did you ever hear of Carmine Fatico being a tattoo artist?
No, I know the name, but I didn't know, no, I had no clue.
I heard
really, was he? Really?
Yeah, that's what they say, man.
Well,
Carmine
better, I'm
Fatico
sure he was,
let me pull up a couple of
that
guys
I
have pictures of. One of them, real old school here. You can barely see it, but Lucky Luciano looks to have a sparrow on his forearm.
Tattoo, yes, I heard about it. I think it was you that showed it to me a while ago.
I think so, man. I think we were talking about that, man. Yeah. That's one. Tommy Bellotti, just a little arm tattoo there, man.
There you go. And right, and here we go. We're talking about like that, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's something that like that's somebody would say, "Oh, you got a tattoo." Now we're taking that, and now we get talked about. Now you're fucking covering yourself or getting fucking pieces everywhere,
Sure.
big pieces everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I'm just gonna say, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody saw you like me. I go to a backyard and I got this all over me. Would not shock me when it's happened. What are you, a fucking a billboard?
Yeah.
Fucking,
No, I got you, man. Yeah.
you're a billboard now, and it has nothing to do with well, I think part of it is from it stems from you're just going to accept the fact that you're not an altar boy and anything is possible. So why would you give any authority uh, and a way to ID you in anything? So it has to do with that.
Hmm.
And my answer to that would be is well, I'm not, and I said it. Well, I'm not. I don't plan on doing anything stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, it has to do with the old way of thinking. I truly believe, and I don't want to make the show about that, but yeah, it's a great question, Mike, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you get 100 answers, but I think I'm going to be close to the real
No, I
answer.
think you got the right one, man. Here was one more with a couple guys, John, and
Yeah.
with a few tattoos. You know,
And
a
again,
couple.
it's our generation, it's our generation that's
Yeah.
getting them.
Right. For the most part.
It's not the older guys getting covered.
But what you just said was super interesting, Craig, because
Yeah,
you said, hey, what are you, a biker? This or that. Look
yeah.
at it like this. What if a biker showed up and he had on a velour sweatsuit, and a pinky ring or suit
Yeah,
and
what
some
the fuck is going on
scapines?
here? Yeah,
Yeah.
Scapines.
Can you
Exactly right.
imagine, man? So
Yeah.
that's
Who are
nothing
you?
wrong with that. Exactly, man. That's the point. That's the point. You did a good point, man. All right, man. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that, man.
Yeah,
That's right.
no, it's good. Like we could go forever, but I wanted to. I'm glad you asked me about that because I was going to talk about that in a way, but I'm glad you asked me like that because it's something that I didn't want to forget. And and I could take this into guys that would later go into that business because it was a good way of cash. You need, not really wash your money, but you need to get involved with legitimate businesses and cash. And you didn't, years ago it used to be you needed to be a tattoo artist. Calm down, Joe. You need to be a tattoo artist. Guys thought they had to be an artist to own a tattoo parlor. Then you would realize, well, I could rent a store. I could get 3 or 4 great artists I know. They could work for me no different than a barbershop rents chairs. Well, now you're renting chairs, right?
Right.
And these guys bring their own clientele. You tell them you get a state of the art studio, and you just want 25, 30% of what they're bringing in. And now they got a home. They don't have to go out of their pocket for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Calm down.
Right.
Sorry, Mikey.
No,
Um,
that's yeah.
And so guys were getting involved with that because they could show money. You know what I mean? Where'd you get this money from? Well, I got a tattoo parlor. And before you know it, especially at the very end, for me, being in the street, being up in the Bronx, whatever. Oh, you see that tattoo parlor? That's so and so's place. He's got a piece of that place. Oh, so and so's got a piece of that joint down the street. Or so and so's got that place in Long Island. 50 miles from the Bronx, whatever. And guys were starting to get pieces of tattoo parlors. And there's for a lot of reasons. A lot of years ago, I'm going to say 70s, 80s New York, a lot of the bikers had that thing. That was all biker thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was in Texas, but it was a big biker
About
thing.
the same, man. Yeah.
They had their
a lot
hooks
of the
and all of
shops.
that. Yeah, they had their hooks and all of that. But as you know, there was a marriage made with wise guys and bikers, and that continued into the tattoo thing later on. Again, I didn't know everything about that, but what little bit I did know, yes, there was they had a lot of guys running the tattoo parlors for them, and whether they were behind or even in some cases partnered up with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that
of
makes
course,
sense.
they weren't there tattooing, and anybody. They would send guys, yeah, that's my place, and everybody would want to, oh, I'm going to go to so-and-so's place to get tattooed, just so they could say they were at some mean guy's fucking, mean guy's never been in there, never walked, never spent a day in that place. You know what I mean?
Right.
But anyway, that's that. But I'm going to ask you something. We covered that. There's so much to cover here, Mike. It's so freaking much. I wanted to tell you quickly because we talked about the Bronx. So I'm going to, the name of the place was called Tattoo Scene. It was a great tattoo artist. His name was Tattoo Scene. It's on Tremont Avenue. If anybody knows the Bronx that comes across this, Tattoo Scene it's been around for a long time. Again, I wasn't somebody that would look for, you know how, Mike, it's all word of mouth.
Right.
no different than anything, I guess, in life. It's word of mouth. You need a good plumber, you know somebody, all you do it.
Right.
So this guy Tommy, I forget Tommy's last name, biker. He's a great artist. Somebody recommended me to him. I went in there. I wasn't gonna, walk around and look for a tattoo parlor, but somebody recommended it, and I was at the point where I wanted to get. I wasn't sure. I wanted to get into the Japanese stuff. So I walked in there. I was told to go in there. I go in there. Uh, we make some appointments. We wind up getting probably 15 hours might be of outline done. You know what I mean? Right. So it was a lot of work. So we're going to go from the wrist all the way around the shoulder to the chest. So we're going from the wrist, basically all inside, outside, all the way to the chest here. It's supposed to go around the shoulder, the whole bit. Get all the outline done, as you can see. Shush. And probably I say 15 to 20 hours of work done. And now we're going to start putting the dates together to start doing the shading and coloring. I go in there. Hey, where's Tommy? I got so we get to know each other at this point. We have a good relationship, Mike. You understand?
Yeah.
We got a good relationship.
You got it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We got a good relationship. Hey, where's Tommy? Craig, not good. You didn't hear? They say to me, they said, no, hear what? If Tommy's not going to be around for a while. I go, what are you talking about? Yeah, he got in trouble. Now I got all this fucking, Mikey, I got all this outline on me, and Tommy's looking at
15 hours.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to get this colored in until like 2020. You can laugh about it now, but I wasn't.
Yeah, at the time, it sucks. Yeah.
Connect the dots, remember? Connect the dots.
I got to put this. I got to fill in this.
Yeah. So I'm walking around with an outline from my wrist to my nipples, my back. I could send Tommy commissary, but is he going to send me somebody to color this in?
Yeah. You're trying to catch a case so you can get in there.
And you know this, Mike, and anybody listening is going to know this. You will know this firsthand. This was when I say intricate, Tommy was known for his, how every artist, a good artist, is known for something? Tommy was known for his shading. Like, that was his thing. Not even so much his shading.
Yeah.
So, Tommy knows what he did with the outline. So, he knew how he wanted to shade it and color it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, now I'm going up people, and they see an outline. Yeah, they could figure out what they want, but it wasn't their vision. You understand this, right, Mikey?
Sure.
So, they're looking at me like, and now they want to hit, I don't know. They didn't know what to. It was just a nightmare, bro. I mean, it was a nightmare. I mean, I was better off taking my left because I'm lefty when it comes to writing, and I should have just been doing this myself.
Hey, call him. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I do over here? I'm by the wrist.
I found my man, and we wound up doing some things, but it was crazy. I wound up leaving the chest alone, but yeah, that was crazy. Talk to me about some of your. I know you like all types of work, like me, and I wound up doing some Japanese stuff. I love flowers and incorporate. And with it, Mike, we got to come back because there's so much we got to touch on between people's work. We know all your work. I got some work I would love to talk about.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some styles. You
Definitely,
love Japanese.
Man.
You love American. Talk to me about some of the style work you have.
Okay,
I know you got a lot, man.
Early on, man, I started off. I wanted street style type stuff, black and gray work. I liked a lot of black and gray. I liked a lot of realism and things like that. And I've got, man, I'm like a photo album of portraits. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4, 5. I got 5 portraits, man, on me. And those are ones I didn't cover. I'll never, those won't be covered. But as far as I always liked black and gray. From there, I really liked Japanese. Is what I started.
Yeah, I love Japanese. Absolutely, yeah.
Loved it, man. Just everything about it, man. The samurai, the warrior, the
Hanyu mask, the Hanyu mask.
Yeah, the Hanyu. Yeah, see my So I got one cousin, man, that was covered in a lot of Japanese stuff, and I didn't really appreciate that style till later on.
Gotcha, later on,
and it worked great for cover-up stuff, So I said,
absolutely, because dark. Yeah.
Go back with all Japanese, You like
the koi fish, you like all of it. I like
just about anything. I don't think there's anything I don't like with Japanese style, man. I like. You know what else I like, man? That they got really corny, man,
Yeah.
because it was probably done wrong. Was a lot of tribal stuff.
Tribal, yeah. I did this. This guy did this freehand. I'm in the working, I'm bouncing, and this kid who had a big tattoo parlor in the village in Manhattan. Rising Dragon was the name of the tattoo parlor. It's big, but he had a dear friend that was a great artist too, and he used to come into the spot that I was bouncing in, and we got to know each other. So one night, one morning, it's like 5 in the morning. His son's coming up. I'm in his attic. He got a beautiful shop in his attic, and he made a great office. And he's just freehanding some tribal. Remember I told you about the mom and dad rose?
Yeah,
So that still hasn't been covered in 50 years. But and then he's just doing some tribal around it. We're banged up at 5 in the morning. There's a baby up there. But you can see he's just freehanded all this dark shit around it. But you get into the tribal. You touched on tribal. I think, it was a quick rush. Everybody jumped on the tribal.
Yeah.
And then it went away. And
Right.
so you like it, but they didn't do a lot with it, I guess. I don't know, but I feel you.
I think it's got a resurgence, man, of a more
Does it?
people are. I think people are going more with they're trying to find authentic tribal pieces
Mm-hmm.
to do,
Mhm.
and I think that's why it's caught on so well because to me it's neat, man. Even
Yeah.
blackouts, man. People are going
Yeah,
full
blackout. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I
people are doing
fell in love with the. I like it all. I like the American traditional. I like
Yeah.
like just the little pieces, here and there.
Mhm.
The flash art, like you walk into the tattoo parlor and you
Yes.
just give me that on the wall, that type of shit.
Definitely.
But then I got into the Japanese. I like the wizard stuff years ago, like the mystical type shit, like the
Mhm.
wizards, because you could get in depth the Viking stuff, the Nordic
Yeah.
stuff. Love that. Never got on it. But the Japanese stuff, like the Native Americans, I think anything that's detailed. I guess that's what it comes down to,
Yeah.
detailed stuff.
Right.
The chief, the fucking headdresses are
Oh,
insane,
yeah.
right? You could do so here we go. We could talk for fucking days on this, bro.
Yeah, no, I got a cousin and she got a chief with a headdress and stuff,
Right.
So, and then I got another cousin. The cousins my age are some of them have, pretty good amount of tattoos and stuff.
Yeah.
One of my cousins, she's got some flowers and stuff, a whole
Yeah.
shoulder or something. But my nephew now. So
Love it. Let's look at it, man.
this,
We could do reactions, break them down. We could do shows just breaking down people's tattoos.
of course, man, of course, and he's a guy who slowly. He went and got tattooed with me when he was pretty young,
Did he?
because he
Yeah,
was
so I
with me
know.
a lot.
I just
But
told you, yeah.
little pieces, little stuff,
Yeah.
and then now, man, he's got his whole back done now, and that's mainly like some Native American inspired stuff. You see the horse at the
Yeah.
bottom,
And I just said I love the native work. Yeah.
yeah, and
That.
it's got a flair of traditional, like he's got the eagle on his chest,
Yep,
it's pretty
yep,
large,
love that.
but it's just it's so many different styles, man.
Mike, how many times have you been asked this? Now, I've been asked this a lot. I never counted the amount of times I've been asked this, but I've been asked it a lot. I know you've had to be asked it. And I guess it's when people see somebody has a certain amount of work, I don't know, they'll ask, what spot hurts the most?
That's a good question, man.
And everybody's different, as you know. Everybody's
Yeah.
different. For me. So when I look at your nephew right there,
Yeah,
automatic respect, 1,000,000%. Because to me, the chest was the most fucking painful thing ever to me.
Yeah.
The chest, brutal, Mike. Like around here, under here. Oh my God, brutal. The chest for me, the elbow and inside the elbow were brutal.
yeah.
What about you, buddy? Now, there's some spots I haven't done, but I pretty much touched a lot of areas that you have.
Right.
Maybe not into depth, but I've hit all those areas.
Yeah, you're all over. You're
Yeah. What do you and maybe to you, none of them bothered you that much to where you would never do it again, so no big deal. But the chest is brutal for me. Brutal.
Yeah,
I
it's
got
bad.
through it. I
Man.
was ready to quit. I was ready to quit.
Chest is
It's that
bad.
bad.
Ribs is bad.
Aha, you got me. I never did the ribs. Yeah, let's see it, Mikey. Or you could put it in afterwards. We could.
I got one
discuss
right here.
it.
I think this is my side.
Oh,
That's my
Oh,
side down to
right
my
over
waist.
here?
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, it's got to be bad.
that's my whole side down to almost to my underarm, down to my waist. So that's a pretty big piece there. Hey, you could feel it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no,
I've
I
got my
agree.
armpit done. In
Yeah,
my
yeah.
armpit.
Oh, I got. Yeah, this was pretty bad inside the elbow. What did you think of the elbow, Mikey? The bone,
Elbows
right
are.
on that bone.
I got both elbows
Oh,
done. Yeah, man. You could. It feels like it's bouncing off the bone. You know,
yeah.
it
I
feels
remember
like
the
it's.
chest up here, Mikey. The collarbone was pretty. I'm thinking now, any bone area, like where you're right on the bone, the shoulder blade, the bone. Yeah, the
In
wrist,
here,
the wrist. Yeah, oh, yeah. I didn't do the inside.
that's
Yeah, yeah. I can
that's
imagine.
a tender spot, man.
Yeah, yeah.
They have to really get in there because it's tough
Digging.
skin.
They're digging, man. That's it. Yeah,
Oh
I remember the
man,
bone down here was a bitch. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember the bone down here.
yeah. Out there, um,
Yeah, there's no
that.
area you haven't
Let me
touched,
tell you,
though.
man, that armpit is a mother.
Whew.
Man. I'm telling, straight down in there, man.
So,
It's like,
you know what? It makes me think of something. I think that's the respect I have for somebody when, like, I don't know a person and I understand, I see the amount of tattoos they have on them and how they're covered. Like, I'll automatically say to myself, I'm going to respect until he starts talking, the person starts talking, then you'll decide jerk off or not. But you know what I'm saying? No, like, I'm respecting the fact that I can see this guy's got 300 hours of work on him. So I know he's got a decent pain tolerance. You know what I'm saying? So, good chance that if I don't have a good right hook, we're not going to get this guy out of the fight too quick. You know what I'm saying?
this guy's
So,
going to take a bat.
yeah, yeah, he might be able to handle, a weak jab. But no, like I looked at your nephew's chest, Cyril's chest, and like Antonio, a
Your
lot of
boys,
work
man.
on his
Your
chest.
boys got some great
No,
stuff, man.
and I only have half of that, and I just remember the fucking chest, well, bitch, around the nipple. Oh God! And I didn't want to make this about pain, but I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it. Mikey, we could go a lot of places. Is there something else you want to touch on? Because we could do this 10 parts, Mike, and maybe
Let me
we
ask you
will.
this before we
Yeah,
go off or anything.
yeah. And I don't want to rush it either. I just
How
want
did you feel,
so much
man,
to hear.
when your sons decided they were going to
Mm,
get that's, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That's something I wonder
great
how they
question.
felt.
Great question because all right. So as I was getting becoming a father and having my kids and they're getting older and I have tattoos and I'm still getting tattoos, you know, and which was the case. I was still 40 years old, still getting work done, finishing up work, getting work done, and they're seeing that would work. And I knew at that point I couldn't be a hypocrite and be the kind of father that says you better not get a tattoo. They're no good. I wasn't going to be that guy. I couldn't be that guy
Right.
because if anything I have ever taught them was about being true and being honest and being a man, as far as of your word. Well, then how could I tell them it's no good?
Don't
Yet
do it.
I'm covered. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So now, what I could tell them is be smart. Don't ever put nothing on your face. Things like that.
Right.
Think about anything before you do it. Those kind of things, of course, were said. But I could not tell them don't do this or don't do that. Right? Um, how did I feel about it? Just make the right decisions and be smart and express yourself. You do what you got to do because I didn't want to listen to nobody, Mike. So I couldn't be the hypocrite that way,
Same. Hey,
And
man, look like they did the right thing because your guys, man, they've got some killer.
they went, they went, and Vinny and Antonio, they just do more and more. And Junior's talking about what he wants to do. He's 23 years old. They break his chops. He's a virgin still. He's an open canvas.
Hey,
And
but
they
that's
say
okay.
he's got a
all
lot
the
of
space in
canvas
the
too.
world.
He's
Yeah.
got a lot of canvas. He's a big billboard to hit too.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
and
Man.
we've been talking. I've been getting the itch again. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But
You
we got so much to cover, man.
you mentioned one other thing that was really
Yeah,
good, man, before we go.
Yeah,
The no face thing, right? Okay,
yeah.
so at
I'm pretty
Shaw's
sure.
when I would go to Shaw's,
There we go. You love it.
okay, and then you got Bob Shaw there.
Yeah.
Now his hands are tattooed, but let me tell you, his son Larry Shaw, Larry would be in his 60s, 70s now. His son's my age. He tattoos me a lot, but Mr. Shaw would always say, he'd tell me every all the time. He would remind me when I come in there and talk, whatever. Keep that shit off your hands and your face.
Yeah.
That's what he
Right.
would say. He goes,
Yeah.
you make sure that you could wear a suit and tie and nobody will know you have a tattoo on your whole body.
Absolutely.
He said
Right.
if you do anything beyond that, your life is totally
Might
different.
be.
You know.
So true. So true. And I'm going to use this as an example. There were so many guys I would come across later in life, and I was hustling and doing a lot of security work, Mike, right? And a lot of these spots that I wind up getting some good security work with were very high-end places, top-end restaurants, clubs. I mean, billionaire boys, Cipriani's of the world, big names. And yes, I had to know how to speak, and there were certain things that you have to know how to do as far as how to carry yourself, maybe a certain way if you're going to be at the front door or work a certain crowd. We're all suit and tie guys. These weren't like we were in jeans and a fucking turtle, a windbreaker.
Right.
No, these are all suit and tie security places.
Right.
And I could tell you this: all of those spots would have never put me at any door. I don't care if it was the front door, the back door, the side door, if I had a tattoo ever touching my face, because you had to look a certain way besides being able to act a certain way.
Right.
You had to look apart, and you're not going to look apart if you look like Petey from the Little Rascals with a fucking tattoo on your eyeball. You understand what I mean? And they were, you know what I mean? You're just not. And,
What? Yeah. Once you do that, your life has changed. It's okay. Hey, if you want to do that, you just need to know.
You do that, but I got to put you in I got to put you in a bar. You can't work with the Hollywood A-listers of the world. Now, maybe that's not what you aspire to do. It's not what I aspire to do, but it just happened to. It worked out for me because I didn't have my face tattooed or up till here.
100%, and that's the thing. That's my point of it. Is that okay? So like the video we pulled up earlier of Neil saying, don't. I'll just pull it up for a second. What's up, man? I'm here with my man Neil, Houston, Texas, third generation ink. Okay, so Neil's got his neck, if you could see.
Yeah,
he's got his hands. But Neil is a tattoo artist for life. That's what he's going to do.
A lot of tattoo artists for covers, yeah.
He knows that's what he's going to do. He's not going to work nowhere else. If he does, he's going to do. He makes tattoo machines. That's all he does. You know what I'm saying? That's his life. That's what he does. Now, having said that, he won't tattoo just someone walking in there going, "Hey, I want to get a rose on my face."
You sure you want to do that? You sure you want to do that? Yeah, absolutely.
If you ain't fully tattooed, he won't even think about it. He don't care what you pay him. He's got serious moral compass.
That's rare. When I say it's rare, you will get guys like that. It is rare because guys will just grab the money and not care what you do. Sure, like an asshole, go right ahead.
$50, sure, I'll put a.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah,
I'll put a pile of shit on your face.
I'm gonna put Lionel Richie on my face and walk around. Hello, is it me?
Is it me? Oh man, hey, that's great.
I hope we did okay. I mean, there's so much we did, man. Well, we just wanted to touch some bases of where we touched on different things. I think it'll come out good. And hey, listen, we're back. We're rolling, man.
You know what, Craig? There's one thing I always want to remind everybody is always stay loyal. Don't end up on the fishing boat at the Corleone compound. Yeah. And that's all I got, Craig, man. Thank you so much for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Pay attention. Never go fishing. Never go fishing with is that Rocco?
I think it's Rocco, man. I don't know.
Never go fishing with Rocco. Never sell your brother. If you got a brother Michael, never sell him down the river.
Don't do that.
Okay? Never say no to a man named Vito.
That's right.
All right. Yo, everybody be well. Take care of yourself. Take care. Brush your hair. We love you guys. We'll be back soon with more. Mikey, I love you, man.
Love you, bro. Great show, man.